Hello friends and welcome back. Okay, in this tutorial what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can get user input, how you can have some sort of prompt for the user, and then we're going to store that in a variable. I'm also going to show you how you can check the data type and if necessary how you can actually change a data type. So we've got to look forward to in this tutorial. So how you can prompt a user is with window.prompt parentheses and then have some sort of string message inside of that. So what I'll do is I'm going to say window dot prompt, then we have our parentheses, and what we can do is we'll have some sort of message. Maybe we'll say something like, please enter your name, and semicolon to end our statement here. Remember, a line of code in JavaScript, you can just call it, this here is a statement. Okay, so now if I go to the Google Chrome browser and refresh the page, we get a prompt. It says, this page says, please enter your name. So maybe Bruce Wayne is looking at our application for some reason, he wants to invest, so we enter that. But what you'll notice is, while we've done that prompt, we haven't actually stored the data anywhere, so we're just prompting the user to input some data, but we haven't actually stored that anywhere. So what you can do is you can just take all of that and store it in a variable. So what we're going to do is we're going to say let user input, and note the use of camel case here, so lowercase u for the first word and uppercase I for the second word, and all we're going to do is just use the equal sign or the assignment operator to assign that the value of whatever the user inputs. Okay, so that's all I'm doing. So we're saying let user input, our variable, be equal to, assign the value of window.prompt, and then we have please enter your name. So whatever the user types in will be stored in our variable. And just to prove that to you, I will just console out to the console the user typed in, okay, and whatever the user input is. Okay, so let's try this again. So this time, instead of just putting out a prompt to the window, we're now storing it inside of a variable, user input, and then we're just saying console.log, the user typed in, and whatever the value was. So let's try this again. Let's save and refresh. Please enter your name. So I'm going to say Bruce Wayne, press OK, and then we get the user typed in Bruce Wayne. We don't even have to have this message here. You can just simply log out to the console, whatever it is the user typed in. So let's try this one more time. And by the way, this is really awesome, by the way, because if you think about it, we're now able to get user input. So we'll say, my name is Batman. Okay, maybe it's 8 o'clock, Bruce has had too many cocktails. My name is Batman. Okay, awesome. Now, what I want to do is, I want to show you how you can essentially check the type of a variable, okay? So all you need to do is, let's just delete this. We can say console.log type of, okay? So type of, it's all one word, there's no space and it's lowercase. And what you can do is just pass in the variable, okay? So if we just save and refresh, what I'm doing is I'm just logging out whatever the user typed in its data type. So please enter your name. We'll just say Bruce. If I press OK, see here we get string, okay? So see it is of type string. So guys, that's how you can send out a prompt message to the user, and you can store it in variable. But you can also check the type by using type of parentheses and passing in to type of whatever variable it is you're looking to check the type of. Now there are some weird behaviors in JavaScript you need to be aware of. So what I'm going to do is, let's change the request for the user to enter their name to enter their number. Maybe we've gone out drinking with Bruce and we met someone we really liked, and we're single right now for some reason, we want to meet someone. So we say, oh, please can I have your number? Please enter your number, right? So let's now save and refresh, okay? And let's see what happens when I enter a number. So please enter your number. I'm going to do 647-101-0000, right? Press OK. We get type string. You're saying, what the hell? That was clearly a number. So this is the interesting thing about JavaScript. There will be some weird behaviors which we can talk about throughout this course, okay? But you're asking for a number, but yet JavaScript is given that as a type string. So what you can do is you can actually change the type, okay? You can actually change the type that the user has input, okay? So how you could do that is, so we've said let user input equal window.prompt in the message. We've stored it inside of user input. What we could do is we could reassign the value of user input equal to itself and then pass that into something in JavaScript called number. So in JavaScript that there's this inbuilt power we can use called number, and if you pass in whatever it is you're looking to pass in this case the user input, it will convert that to type number. So what we can do now is we can just store that inside of user input. So I know this is a bit confusing. Let me just talk about what we've done. Let me just show you this first and then we'll talk through it. Okay, so on this line here, we've created a variable called let user input, okay? So when we declare let user input, we're creating a variable. We're creating a variable called user input, and we are assigning that the value of the user input. Because remember, we're using window.prompt. You know, we're saying please enter your number, okay? Then what happens is, assuming the user enters the number, what we're going to do is we're going to take that user input, maybe, you know, that 647 number, and user input, we're going to pass it inside of parentheses to this number power here, and then assign that to user input. So really what I'm doing here is I'm taking the user input, converting it to type number, and then storing it in the variable of user input. And then if we just console.log out to the console type of, what we'll see is this should now actually be of type number, and we'll just log out the user input. Okay, so let's save and refresh. I know this is a bit confusing, by the way, so we'll talk through it again. So save and refresh. So we have please enter your number. So we'll say 647-101-40. I just made this number up, by the way. I hope this isn't someone's actual number. So you see here, now we get it is of type number, and we log out the number. So how do we do that? Well, we use window.prompt, okay, that inbuilt superpower in JavaScript. We then, inside of parentheses and inside of quotes, we say please enter your number. We store that in this variable called user input. But we saw how JavaScript can act a bit weird sometimes, so even though we entered a number, it was coming back as type string, and we didn't want that. So all we do down here on this line is we take the user input, we pass it into number inside of parentheses, and that then means that user input, whatever the user has typed in, has now been changed to type number. And then all we do is we just log out to the console the type of user input, which we've converted to a number here. So on this line, we basically change the data type from a string to a number. And then all we're doing here is we're just logging out to the console. We're just logging out to the console, the data type, and the value, whatever it was the user typed in. Okay, so just to save and refresh this one more time, please enter your number, or we could even say like please enter your age. So let's do that. So we could say please enter your age. Maybe, you know, for conversation starter, we're going to ask their age before we get straight to asking for their number. Bruce is drunk though, he's just asking everybody. So please enter your age. Well, let's pretend I'm 29. I'm actually 32, but age or number there is 29. Okay, awesome. So I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Key takeaways are essentially you can use window.prompt to prompt out a message to the user. Then there's like an input field that appears. You can store that in a variable by just using the equal sign or the assignment operator. So let user input equal to window.prompt and then the message. We saw when we used type of that even when a user was putting in their digits, their number, their age, it was coming out basically as type string. So if you I just showed you how you can convert that to a number. Just pass in the variable name inside of number, and then you can store that in a variable, and then we just logged out the type of variable and whatever it was the user typed in. Okay, watch that tutorial again. I know that was a bit of new information we learned here together. So guys, that's awesome. I'll see you in the next one.